You are listening to the Andrew and Troy Show here on OX Gold as we continue our delightful chat with the talented Judith Lucy. Now, I've got to ask, with the whole same-sex marriage debate going on in Australia at the moment, what is your opinion of the debacle, as we like to call it?
I'm feeling a bit sick because the next sentence will probably involve me saying the words Tony and Abbott, and that's difficult. It's difficult to say early in the morning. Look, Troy, do you do what I do? When I see Tony Abbott's face, I just always think Burns victim, and I feel bad saying that because I would never want to offend a Burns victim, but I find it really hard to believe that it just hasn't already happened, because I think it's so incredibly clear that it should happen. Most Australians want it to happen, and it's just a basic right that everyone should have.
Yeah. Now, if we were to sit you down with a glass of Shardy with the PM, Tony
Well, it wouldn't
Abbott,
be a Shardy for starters. It'd be a Pinot Noir, thanks
Pinot
very much.
Noir, sorry. What if we got you down down to Canberra in a room with Tony Abbott as we dry reach, as we say that, what would you say to him about his reluctance to accept gay marriage?
Well, I mean, honestly, what could I say? Because it would be the start of a very, very, very long monologue where I'd have to say, what is your problem with women? What is your problem with gay people? What is your problem with refugees? Why are you turning this country into an enormous embarrassment? And on top of that, what are you doing about climate change? So it would just be the tip of the iceberg, Troy.
So you'd go for the full attack, everything.
I think so, because it's a mess.
Oh, it's
an absolute mess.
Now, I did ask, we spoke about it earlier, do you miss working in radio?
I miss the medium, and I miss talking to listeners. Do I miss Osteria about as much as I would miss some sort of tumour? So, no, that was not a good experience.
Were they really that bad?
Yes.
All right, I'll make
But that was a long time ago, Troy. I did a whole show about that called I Failed, because I did.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's let that one go. It was not good time.
Fair enough. All right, my parents are big fans of yours, and they insist that I ask. Well, my old man did. He wants to know, and clearly I get my talent for asking questions from my dad. He wants to know, where do you get your dry sense of humour from? Hard-hitting question from Dad.
And good on him. And I'm always thrilled when I meet a family where, I have more than one generation of people who like me. So I'm delighted with that. I don't know. I had very kooky Irish parents. I didn't have a shower until I was 15. I mean, I have a lot of stories about my parents. I mean, one of my favourite stories about Dad is that I remember one day in my early 20s, he asked me how I was going, and you know how every now and then you slip up and actually tell your parents what you're really thinking. You don't sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
And I made the mistake of saying to Dad that I'd been feeling a bit depressed lately. I swear to you, this is a true story, Troy. He turned to me without skipping a beat and said, "Do you think you'd be happier if you had a breast reduction?" What I'm trying to say to you is that my parents were nuts, and that if I hadn't developed a bit of a sense of humour fairly early on in the piece, I would have been in trouble, I think. Also, to be fair, Dad was very funny. That was not him joking, unfortunately. He then, in fact, went on to say, "Do you think you should have a breast reduction because you're completely out of proportion?" I was kind of expecting him to then say, "Let's face it, you're a freak. Have you thought about growing a beard and joining the circus?"
Fair enough. I think my dad was hoping that you'd answer with something like you could pick it up from Bunnings from 1999. But funny, crazy Irish parents, being a Murphy, myself...
well then, you know all about it.
Yeah, although we didn't quite get the funny genes that you've got, which is probably, a good thing or a bad thing. I'm depending on who's listening.
Sure, I'm just going to diss. I'm just going to agree with you.
Yeah, nod and say yes. Yeah. Now, what's something that you've never revealed about yourself before in an interview?
Nothing.
Nothing. Wow.
I've been banging on about myself for 27 years. I've written books. I've done one-woman shows. There is nothing. There's nothing left, Troy. I'm an empty shell. I have exploited every part of my personal life for cash. There is no stone I've left unturned.
Beautiful. And with being a few years since your last show, is it hard to get the old clogs going again?
The old clogs?
Yeah, the old clogs. I am trying to offend you like we did say earlier.
Yeah, no, well done.
Did it work?
You mean just getting back up there again?
Yeah, getting up on the stage.
Nah.
No.
Not at all, really. I've been doing it for nearly 30 years. It's kind of like riding a bike, even though I can't ride a bike, so that might not be the best example. But no, not at all. And the really good news is that, of course, Sydney is actually pretty much the last city that I'm doing on the tour. So even if I was a little rusty and if the show was a bit shit, by the time it gets to Sydney, it will be spun gold.
Beautiful. And that's how we like it. Now, in your press release, Judith, that I was given before this chat, it describes your show saying, the good news is last year really sucked. A truly awful year for Judith, always leads to a great show for her fans, and 2014 was magnificently terrible. What the hell happened last year that was, and I quote, magnificently terrible?
Oh, well, it was a strange year. It was a year of highs and lows, Troy. I mean, I am in this lovely relationship. I did make the television series Judith Lucy is All Woman, and that was a great thing to do. But regrettably, it was also the year I was hit with early menopause. Don't tell me that's not sexy. I do, in fact, read out a list of menopause symptoms while dancing to Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On. And my brother died. There is clearly nothing funny about that, but I just mentioned that towards the end of the show, and I talk about how I drank an awful lot when that happened.
I don't think I can comment on that. Now, with every guest that we have on the show, Judith, we like to play a little bit of a game. It's called the Andrew and Troy Show's 4.5 questions. Are you ready to play?
Let's do it.
All right, question number 1. Have you ever gone cow tipping?
No.
Would you ever?
No.
All right, question number 2. When was the last time you self-pleasured?
Oh, I think I can say last night, Troy.
Beautiful!
And let me tell you, sometimes I get on such a roll with that thing, I'm surprised I haven't rubbed my clitoris clean off.
Question number 3. Do you ever doubt the existence of others than you?
Sorry, do I ever doubt the existence of...
Others, apart from yourself.
Oh, do I think everyone else is just a dream?
Yeah, made up.
No, I'm pretty convinced that everyone is as real as I am.
Question number 4.
But good on you for asking that. It's wow, it all went a bit existential there.
Well, I do like to, a little bit of journalistic integrity, do something different.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good to go straight from having a wank to, looking at existence itself. I like the way you're moving.
Look, there is clearly no... We have no producers here on the show, so there's clearly no direction whatsoever, and we're not told what we can and can't do, so we just do whatever we like.
Yeah, well done.
It makes for great radio. Question number 4. On a scale from 1 to 5, how afraid of the dark are you?
I sort of stopped listening at one point. Don't take that badly. I'm not entirely awake. So what's not very afraid?
On a scale of 1 being not afraid and 5 being very afraid.
Let's go with 1. 1.
So you're not scared of the dark?
Nah.
No. I guess that helps with the whole moth thing, but I will drop that. And,
drop that.
Yeah, the half question, do you?
Hardly ever.
Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, Judith Lucy, she's coming to Sydney at the Enmore Theatre Friday the 31st of July, 7:30 p.m, Saturday the 1st of August at 7 p.m, then off to Chatswood, on Sunday the 2nd of August at 6:30 p.m. Judith Lucy, thank you so much for joining us here today on the show.
Fuck you, Troy, I'm hanging up.
Fuck you too.